Hey guys, Scott Dispel here, dispelmusic.com. Today we're going to talk about the hidden meaning behind the artwork on our Inferno album and an update on all the shipments. So stick around. Hey guys, Scott Dispel here, dispelmusic.com. Welcome to our humble studio here on the shores of Lake Erie, which is freezing over, and in the distance you can hear the polar worms crashing through the ice. If you like anything medieval or fantasy like Game of Thrones, House of Dragons, Lord of the Rings, maybe you're a gamer and you like Magic the Gathering or Dungeons and Dragons, all rights reserved by Wizards. Maybe you like fantasy gaming, maybe you like Vikings, chainmail, armor, maybe you like mythology. All those things are what we love. That's what inspires our music. That's what we sing about. And today we're going to talk about the Inferno album, which was based on Dante's Inferno, which was a literary masterpiece of world literature that was written back in the 1400s. By Dante Alighieri, and he was brilliant because he wrote a novel in poetry form. So absolutely a brilliant person, and we wanted to create an epic musical to it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But please stick around to the end of the video because we have a little cameo by one of our mascots. I think you'll really enjoy that, so stick around. So first and foremost, let's dive into the Inferno album. And this would not have been possible without our Kickstarter supporters. So first and foremost, we got to thank our Kickstarter supporters. There were so many of you. You guys supported us. You put your hard-earned money up to help make this a reality. And I'm so glad that we've been able to ship it out to you. We have one batch to go. This is the last shipment that will be going out. So we've got a bunch of records, and inside these packages also include a CD, the record, and t-shirts. And some of them also have gaming dice and t-shirts. But here is the last batch of the Kickstarter orders and our pre-orders. So once we get these out, that'll be all the orders fulfilled. And it has literally been a full-time job getting all these packages out. It was pretty intense. I set up a whole workspace. And just to give you an idea of how crazy it was, here is a sample of how many orders we had going out, who was getting what, the addresses. It was pretty insane. There's page 1. Here's page 2. So you can see we had a very efficient highlighting system. And then finally, here's page 3, the last of our orders. So again, thank you guys so much. You guys made this possible. Your support, you know, it inspires us to continue doing what we're doing. And it's really nice to know when you work so hard on something that people actually appreciate it. So, like I said, this is batch 3 we're about to mail out. The first 2 batches have gone out. So for our customers in the EU, the UK, Germany specifically, we've got a couple going to Holland, Ireland, and lots to the UK. A lot of supporters in the UK. It takes up to 2 weeks for that. I know both our executive producers, Chad and Shane, have gotten their packages, and they've been so nice to send me pictures, and they really seem genuinely excited about it, which is awesome because we're very excited about this album. So big shout out to Chad, and he was all the way in Hawaii, and he just got his package, and Shane got his package. So we got our packages out to our executive producers in the U.S. You're going to get your shipments within the next couple days. And the EU, and like I said, and UK, they're on their way. This last batch will go out tomorrow. So within 2 weeks, everybody should have their orders. And my goal was to try and get all these orders shipped before our knucklehead politicians start World War III. So it looks like we're going to be on point with getting these all shipped out before, like I said, chaos reigns. So fingers crossed. Let's hope peace prevails. But I don't think our politicians are intelligent enough or have enough common sense to let common sense prevail. So anyways, I digress. So let's talk about the Inferno album. So this was inspired by Dante Alighieri. He wrote a book in poetry form. It was a whole novel where him and his tour guide Virgil, they went into hell and then they went into heaven. So we, of course, did the darker side of things, and we did an album exploring his journey into the Inferno, or the 9 layers of hell. And what we did was we wanted to be your tour guide. So Ravensea is your tour guide. Her hauntingly beautiful voice sings the tour of the 9 levels of hell and the torments and the personalities down there, the rulers, the despots, the abominations that inhabit hell. We collectively want to be your tour guide. So you're joining this journey with us. So let's talk about the artwork, because a lot of thought went into this artwork, and by appearance it looks like a cool fantasy setting, but there's some thought behind it, so I thought I would share some of the Easter eggs and some of the hidden things behind it. So excuse me, first and foremost, the art was done by Claudia Bezik in Poland. So big shout out to Claudia. You did a wonderful job, and your rates were extremely affordable for us, so that really helped us achieve this goal as well. The logo was done by Barry Gelderblom, who is in South Africa, and of course he did a wonderful job on the back, and he also did the full color insert, which we'll get into a little bit. But I thought I would kind of go through the artwork for those of you who are interested, kind of take a deeper dive, because we are gaming nerds. So the idea behind this is the gates of hell. Abandon all hopes, ye who enter here. So you enter here by opening the album, and when you open up the insert, on each side of the insert is a gate. So you'll be opening the gates. So I hope that makes sense. And what we did is, right here, the sorceress, that is Ravensea. She has a red dragon on her shoulder, an homage to Game of Thrones, I suppose. And she also has a spell book here. So she has got her hands up and she's reading an incantation. And that incantation, that forbidden magic, is what is opening the gates. So that's kind of how that worked. We have our Templar Knight, which represents honor, courage, truth, and strength. So there's our knight. And then, of course, if you see our music videos, Ravensea plays herself. We always have a knight in our video, a questing knight, because, again, we are gaming nerds. We love the questing knight. And we have the Plague Doctor. So the Plague Doctor really represents the guide for this group. The Plague Doctor represents wisdom, curiosity, mysticism, mythology, and so he is kind of the voice of common sense, so to speak, the knowledgeable one, the wise one, who takes them into the Inferno. So that kind of describes what's going on the album cover. And now we wanted to kind of have this shadow Dante's Inferno, and Dante's kind of walking lost in a forest. Virgil comes to him, and they walk through the forest, and then finally they go to the gates. So we wanted to mimic that in a way. And on the back here, again, we have Ravensea, we have the Knight, and we have the Plague Doctor, which are prominent in our music videos. And it's kind of funny when you create a band, or maybe you create something that you do, whatever it is, sometimes it'll take on a life of its own. And that's the case that happened with these three characters. When I started writing the music, I didn't even have a singer. So, I mean, Ravensea was a gift from the universe, no doubt in my mind. And then I didn't have the armor or the chainmail, the weapons, any of that stuff. So I reached out to some friends on Facebook, and they led me to our friend Levi. So Levi was a gift as well because he had all the armor, he had the chainmail, the authentic linen tunics and clothing of appropriate for that time period. He taught me sword fighting, so we did combat battles. So all this, it just kind of took a life of its own. Plague Doctor, we didn't have a plague doctor in mind, but what happened is when we were shooting our first video, our wardrobe and makeup, Goth Jen, she had a plague doctor mask. She's like, hey, I brought some props and makeup and some cool costumes for Ravensea. So she did a phenomenal job on Ravensea, the makeup, the wardrobe, out of this world. Unbelievable talent. And she just happened to have a plague doctor mask. I'm like, all right, well, let me put that on and I'll be in the video, and boom. Like I said, it takes on a life of its own. The next video, we threw the plague doctor in there. The following video, we threw the plague doctor in there. So I felt like they were kind of our mascots. That represents the band. That represents us. So we said, let's go with it. So that's kind of how it developed. And I'm really happy how it took on a life of its own. So that is the gist of the lore behind the artwork. So let's get into this wonderful insert. I might as well show you the vinyl. For those of you who haven't seen the vinyl, this is available now. Go to dispelmusic.com. Under the menu, you can click on albums, and then you want the Inferno album. And of course, we got this beautiful clear red vinyl, just absolutely gorgeous. We put a splatter pattern on it to make it a little unique. So if you love colored vinyl, there are only 150 of these left. We ordered 200. We've already sold a quarter of our inventory. And once first press is done, second press will be a different color. But this way, for first press, we know it is clear red splatter vinyl. So for those of you who are into collectibles, rock and roll collectibles, now's your chance to get the first press. It's still available, and it's a beautiful clear red splatter pattern. So let's get into this awesome insert. So on the insert, we've got credits, we've got lyrics, we've got some pictures of the band in the front and back here. And then you open up these gates, and you get this beautiful full color glossy gatefold. That was an original piece of artwork done exclusively for us by Barry Gelderblom. He did a wonderful job. It was very expensive, but it was worth it. And I was just at the art museum looking at art, and this ranks up there with all of it. It's almost like a neoclassical style. I love it. So I'm actually in the process of framing this picture. I'm going to hang it in our gaming room where we play Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering and stuff. So there are hidden figures and entities and beasts hidden in this picture. So I'm not going to go and point them out because I want you to discover them yourself. And in the middle here, there's the river Styx. Along the river Styx is, you can see like some of the souls that are going to the different gateways. Over here we have the crystalline tower, and over here we have the iron tower of Dispater. And so there's lots of hidden creatures in here, and I believe there is at least 6, but I'll confirm that. But anyways, beautiful piece of art. And the idea behind this album was, we want you to put the vinyl on the turntable, kick back, listen to it, and then you have this gorgeous artwork to look at while you're experiencing the music and the journey into the Inferno. You got the beautiful cover and the beautiful reverse. Just wonderful artwork. The artwork to us is as important as the music. The imagery behind what we do. We like to consider ourselves Gothic fantasy rock or Gothic fantasy metal. Whichever you prefer is fine by us. But lots of Gothic keyboards going on. But we also have some great guitar work done by Leonard Konami, all the way in Germany from the band Meldoran. So he did some shredding tracks for us. I had a local bassist, Jamie Baisden, do some awesome bass tracks. So yes, we're just really proud of this. A lot of work went into this. It did take us 2.5 years to complete. Our first album, Lore, took us 2.5 years to complete. And I think that took so long because it was like my first dive into creating this band, Dispel, and at the time, I just had a name. I didn't even have a singer when I was writing the music, and songs were kind of coming together. I was figuring out what direction I wanted to go. So that's the Lore album. That's available on our website too. But Dante's Inferno, we knew, I think at that point, who we were, what we wanted to be. I wanted to incorporate more guitar into our music, become a little more metal, and the reason why it took so damn long is we wanted to do Dante's literary masterpiece justice. So, I read Dante's Inferno, I was taking notes, and then when it came time to do lyrics, we consulted the Inferno as text and pulled a lot of this stuff out of Dante's Inferno. So there's actual lyrics like in the chorus, catchy things like all the gold under the moon could not give you rest. So yeah, we really wanted to do his work justice. So we used a lot of the lyrics verbatim and kind of mixed them in there and really tried to make it a very interesting and epic musical. So that leads me to the next thing I want to talk about this album. Because we love theatrics so much, and if you see our music videos, go to our YouTube channel, please subscribe. Check out our music videos, full of imagery and swords and sword fights and chainmail and plague doctors. And we wanted to do a stage show that also did that justice. So the more I thought about it, I'm like, how do we do this justice? And I really came up with the idea of doing it as a rock opera for a few reasons. Again, we love theatrics. We want to accentuate the imagery and the artistry and all that as part of the music. And also, being that our singer, Ravensea, lives states away, other band members, Leonard, our guitar player, he's all the way in Germany. We're hoping he'll do some more stuff with us. We have a potential keyboard player in South Africa. So it's really not possible for us to do like a one-off show, maybe locally here in Cleveland. There's some great venues like the Cleveland Agora, the House of Blues, are great places to play. But for us to do a one-off show opening for somebody, it doesn't make financial sense because I'd have to fly out Ravensea, I'd have to fly out other musicians. So this needs to be sustainable. So I thought if we did a rock opera and do a series of performances at perhaps a theater house, an art house, something of that nature, then if I brought everybody out for a full weekend or 5 or 6 shows, that's the goal. So I hope that makes sense. I don't know if we're really trying to reinvent the wheel here. Maybe we're biting off more than we can chew. But so far, I think we've built a firm enough foundation with this, and we're trying to be a little different, a little unique. And I've been in the business for going on 30 years. I've been a stagehand, so I've seen the behind the scenes. of what it takes to do a proper production. So to really start throwing it out there, we are working with a playwright right now, a very talented person. He graduated from Baldwin Wallace. I don't know if I have the right to give his name out yet, so we're in communication with him. We're working out some details, some business details, but we're going to really go for this with a theatrical performance. And my thought would be is we're going to do a rock opera. We're going for it. You know, whether it's, you know, Tommy like The Who or The Wall like Pink Floyd, this is going to be very fantasy oriented. It's going to be Dante's Inferno with us performing. So it's a huge swing. This is definitely a big swing, but we're going for it. And my friend Chris at the Agora says, you know, he takes big swings and he's doing really well. And I can see that big risk, big reward. And I just think this band is at the stage where we could pull it off. I studied music. I've got 30 years of drumming under my belt. We've got Ravensea has a degree from Berklee School of Music. She just got her master's degree in music therapy. So we have the talent. There's another local musician who's going to go nameless right now, who also has a degree from Berklee. So I'm going to be speaking with him once we get things a little more established and see if I can't make an offer he can't refuse. But we're going for it, and this is inspired by Dante's Inferno. We want to bring that to the public, a greater public, and we want to share the message of Dante's Inferno. So people might think, oh, it's satanic and they're going into hell and that's evil. And on the contrary, it is a reflection of living an ungodly life, missing the mark, sinning, the consequences and the torment of your eternal soul in hell. So it's we want to make it very reflective. But I would love your input. Please leave comments below if you think this is a great idea, if you think we're out of our minds, because I know we are. Maybe you know somebody who's great at theater. Maybe you know somebody who does grant writing. Maybe you know some grants that are available. Who knows? We need all the help we can get. That's the next step for this, but it's been a success. Thanks to all the people on this sheet, on these sheets. You guys made this possible, and we're so honored to share this completed piece of work with you. And big things are coming, so stay tuned. And as I promised, I got a little cameo video of one of our mascots, so check that out. That'll be the outro to the video. We'll play a little bit of music, but again, thank you guys. You guys made this possible, and we can't thank you enough for the support. Test, test. Come here, you. Come here. You're gonna be famous. You're gonna be famous. This is my chubby kitty. This is Suki. We feed Suki very well because I keep my house cold, and it's winter, and we don't want our cats being too cold, so we put a little extra insulation on them. However, when they shed, boy do they shed.
A banishment, so shameless. Now taste your chaos and take a bite. The bitterness of a love lost inside you. One simmering streams of blood to take you into night.